good. Pretty good gouge. Got a real big problem right now. There's something big crashing around in the woods. Get out of here! We got real bad here, real fast. Oh, nice looking cloud at all. It's mid-September and I'm heading out on my longest solo trip yet. 12 days in the Northern Ontario wilderness. I'll be tackling a seldom traveled route with plenty of long, tough portages. While it could be rushed in under a week, I'm taking my time to fish and explore the more remote lakes along the way. Well, I just headed out and I don't have too far to go on this lake before my first portage. I'm just coming up on it here. It's around 600 meters, 700 meters. And I've got a few pond hops after this, so not too much paddling and a lot of portaging. Holy cow. I wonder what happened to this poor guy. Little coyote. I think that's a coyote. Poor guy. He doesn't look like he was attacked or anything, so maybe just died of natural causes. I don't know. He's still in pretty good shape. Weird. It's always a headwind. It never fails. So I'm coming up to the portage here, or at least this is where it's supposed to be. And this little creek here, I believe, is the portage. So we'll see how far I can make it down this. Well, so far not very far. I'm sure in the spring you could paddle right down this. I'm going to have to unload and drag everything over to the portage. Yeah, this is just one big floating mat. So hopefully I don't go through it. This is a long, narrow lake, almost looks like a river, called Crazy Lake, I think, unofficially. And it's stocked with brookies. And I've got a lift over, I think, on this lake, and then one more portage until my final lake for the day. Not sure if I'm going to make it before dark at 6:15. And I couldn't resist, so I put the fly rod together, and I'm going to troll on my way there. This lake is so interesting. There's so many islands on it, even though it's just this small, narrow lake, and it's just full of rock all the shore is complete rock. I wouldn't mind actually spending some time on this lake. Well, last portage of the night, and it's another boggy one. Literally through this completely dried up little creek. Alright, gonna have to portage the rest of the way. Too heavy. It's after 8 now, so sun's down. I've already taken one load to the other end of the portage. Got about 600 meters left with the canoe. As long as I don't fall flat on my face on the portage in the dark, I should be good. Well, I made the end of the portage. No worse for wear. And I think my campsite is straight ahead on the opposite shore. So not a long paddle. Well, I'm pretty exhausted. Just sitting here delaying camp chores. That was a long day. Started around 5:30 a.m., drove 7 hours. It was pretty much non-stop. So what I've done with my hammock, there's a little trail over here. Hidden back here next to the water's edge, and I just sort of half-heartedly hung the tarp last night. This is, I think, my second trip with this hammock, the Amok Drummer. And I was using just a normal banana style hammock before this, which was okay, but honestly this is miles better than traditional hammocks when it comes to sleeping. Like, I get such a better sleep in this thing. So some of the lakes in this area are stocked and some have wild trout. This one is a stocked lake. There's also a stocked splake lake in that direction. I've never had splake to eat actually, and I thought I'd catch one and have a splake dinner tonight. Last night I saw both crayfish, which this is sort of a rough imitation of, and then also I saw leeches last night, and so I've also got a leech pattern. It looks like a drowned rat right now, but it definitely moves a lot like a leech in the water. So anyway, yeah, leeches and crayfish, that's what's in here, so that's what I'm gonna try. It was reading about 68.5 in the water, which is pretty warm. I mean, that's just the first couple inches of the water. But still, you'd want it quite a bit colder, I think. So I'm probably gonna have to get down a little bit deeper. I'm just at the end of this lake here. I'm looking around for the portage and there's a trail. And I put my canoe on my back and I started down the trail, and after about 10 meters it disappeared. Alright, over to the other side. This is sort of open. Okay, there is a marker up there. But what is weird is this is not going towards the lake I'm trying to get to. So I wonder if there's an ATV trail or something, and that is a trail going elsewhere, not to the lake I want to go to. I'm here, and here's where the portage is supposed to be. And I'm going to this lake over here. And you can see I'm kind of pointing in the direction of that trail, and it goes up this way, up north. If I look this way, you can see I'm generally pointing towards a portage, and that's through the marsh where the grass is. So I'm going to try and walk that and see if that's a portage. I think I can faintly make out a little bit of a path through these grasses. Yeah, this looks promising. This is definitely a portage. Well, I wasted too much time fishing on the first lake because I only had about an hour when I got here, and it's already 7:20 and I still need to portage out of here. I don't really want to be portaging in the dark again. But yeah, it probably will be dark when I'm done it. Just having peanut butter and honey wraps super quick tonight because I was supposed to have a fish dinner, and obviously that didn't work out because I didn't get any fish out of these lakes. I'm going to be heading to another lake, which is about a half a day travel tomorrow, and I got a really big brookie the last time I was there, so I'm pretty excited to go back and fish and explore that lake. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, that was a good move. So I said I was having a cold granola breakfast. So I poured cold water in here and I was mixing it up, and then I realized there's an M on the bag. The M means maple, for maple and brown sugar. So this is actually not granola, this is actually oatmeal. So basically runny cold oatmeal for breakfast. So this loop is very seldomly paddled, I believe. And it's sort of unique in Ontario because it has a mix of wild brook trout, lake trout, which is not super uncommon, but rainbow trout as well, like resident rainbow trout in the lakes. Kevin Kellen wrote about this route in one of his books. The book I have is the 60 Top Routes of Ontario or something like that. And yeah, I suspect the reason more people don't travel it is just the long and tedious portages. Anybody home? I like your house. Can I drag this? Yeah, I think I can. I think there's an opening in the middle. Maybe if I get some speed. Ah, no, I can't get through. Oh. That was our last lift over that I'm aware of. But yeah, that is not a fun section of river to go through. There's just no water at all. In spring, I'm sure it'd be a whole different story, much easier, but not great in the fall. I'm out onto the big lake now. Or a big lake at least, out of that swampy stuff. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm paddling into a headwind again. Oh, that's good. Can't believe it's mid-September. Like I'm sweating out here in a t-shirt. So just in the middle of the portage here, there was a down tree over there. I need to go clear it. And I was just walking back to cut it and I noticed some logs here, like an old cabin. What a strange spot for a cabin. Like really old. Well, it wouldn't be a portage on this route without skirting some kind of beaver pond or marsh. Well, I underestimated that 1.2k portage. I'm not sure why I thought it would only take me an hour. I checked my trip notes and I estimated an hour and 40 minutes. That was pretty much exactly that. And it's really just a warm-up for the next two portages, which I'm not doing today, but the next one is 2k and the one after that is about 3k. This is where the campsite was marked on my map. So if there is a campsite, it's obviously going to be accessed from the other side. You'd have to scale this rock to get up there. And I don't feel like doing that. So I guess back to the other campsite. And I think it is directly across the lake. We made it to camp and it's not too bad. Nice big rock point here. Some trash, unfortunately. And there's a trail leading over to the other point. I think that's where I'm going to hang my hammock. Really cool moon tonight. I just watched it rise from underneath the trees to where it is now in a matter of like 5 or 10 minutes. Kind of like last night, I'm probably just going to do wraps again. I was going to do pizzas, but I don't really feel like cooking and cleaning up in the dark. So we'll save that for tomorrow night. And hopefully the wind dies down tomorrow and we can get out on the lake and do some fishing and exploring. Had a great sleep last night, and I'm just out before breakfast this morning doing a little fishing. And I left my intermediate sink line on. I was trying it on the other lake because I wasn't finding fish with the sinking line, but I still think the fish are deeper, so going to switch that up. Just pull off the spool. And I've got a second spool which has my full sink line. Got a fish here, finally. I lost another one, and then just got this one. It feels pretty good. Oh yeah. Lots of head shakes. Oh, brookie. Nice brookie. Wow. I don't want him to jump and spit that. There we go. Nice. And the fly's out. Yeah, I switched up to just a super flashy articulated fly and I seem to like that. Beautiful brookie. Look at that guy. Thanks, bud. There you go. Well, I think the wind just dictated the end of my fishing. It's really kicked up again and I can't control the boat at all. Like, it just spins me around. So I'm going to be at its mercy and let it drift me back to my campsite. Yeah, it's been really, really windy the last couple of days. How's it going?
Didn't expect to see anybody back here.
I haven't seen anyone in days.
How long you been back here?
4 days.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, well, here just for 1 day.
You doing the whole loop?
Yeah. You guys? I was just making some late breakfast and I turned around and there was a canoe 20 feet from my campsite. It was 2 guys, I think their names were Josh and Chris, super nice guys. So we chatted for a bit and I felt kind of bad because there's not really any other good campsites on this lake. I told them they could stay here if they can't find another place to stay, but I have a feeling they'll find something. Anyway, that was very surprising. I already took another piece of wood out that had some nails in it, and here's another one. I think I'm going to put it to use rather than try and find a spot to throw it away and nail it into a big log over there and make a bench. Alright, I'm out fishing again, and I lost 1 fish already. It was kind of getting slow after that. So I'm going to go with something sort of dramatic. I have this big articulated streamer, and I'm actually going to tie onto that another big articulated streamer, hoping to get them angry and just strike out of aggression rather than out of wanting to eat. I bring this dried tomato powder, just rehydrate it with some water, and it's really good for pizzas. That's it, it's essentially rehydrated now. Add a little bit of hot sauce, and we're good to go. Oh yeah. I decided to come out for a evening paddle. There's so much light on the water. I don't know if you can see the moon behind me. That little dot to my right here, it's so huge. Just a perfect night. It was a little cooler this morning. I actually had to put a coat on for once. And I was going to stay another night on this lake, but I think I'm going to head off to the next lake today and maybe do a quick fish this morning before I leave, just to let everything dry out, and then I'll pack up camp and look forward to a 2K portage. So rainbows always like red and white. At least they do in the Great Lakes. So we're gonna give that a try. And I just lost a fish because I was watching a beaver. Looked left to my fly rod and it was bent over, and I picked it up and the fish was gone. Figures. Just caught a nice rainbow. Man, did he pull. Nice rainbow. Let's revive him in the net here. Okay, one more look at him. And there he goes. What a good fish. Oh, that makes my day. What did I tell you? White and red. I just got up on the shore here. I wanted to check out this stream, and I'm wearing my Merrill, whatever they're called, like similar to Crocs, and they just don't have good grip, and I just absolutely wiped out. I got really lucky. Both feet went out from under me, fell on my back, on my hands, I don't know if you can see that, but I got a pretty good gouge in my finger there, and it's starting to swell up. And I just found some blood on my elbow, but it doesn't feel that bad. So anyway, I got really lucky, and I almost lost my sunglasses. My phone went in the water. Not good. Oh, I actually also chewed up in between my fingers there. Stupid. All right, let's try that again. That was so stupid of me. I fell right in here, and I could have easily hit my head on any of those rocks. So yeah, here's that creek that drains into the lake I'm on. Definitely has some depth. It's now going on noon after those escapades, so I need to get back to camp and pack up if I'm going to head to the next lake, because I don't want to get there real late. Well, here's what I'm portaging around. Technically, this is the Little White River, I believe. Obviously, you can't paddle it. Sure wish you could, though. It smells so good here. That fall smell of like rotting leaf litter. I don't remember it smelling so good. It's just such a familiar smell. Here's what's waiting for me at the portage put-in. It's just pure muck. Where I need to get is that gravel bar over there. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Maybe put the canoe in there and try and drag it over, balancing on some of those logs, I guess. There we go. I just realized I don't have my sunglasses on my head. And I don't remember the last time I had them, but I'm pretty sure they were probably on my hat when I was coming through here. I need to check up through here, see if I can find them, but that's really annoying. I must be getting really tired because they were literally in my pack there. I don't remember putting them there at all. So that's a relief. Paddled around almost the entire lake now, and yeah, there's not a single campsite on the eastern shore of the lake. It's probably not going to be early when I get to camp, like probably 7 o'clock or later again. I ran out of battery on my main camera on my GoPro, so I have to use my phone. There's a few mergansers there, and then there's a beaver, I believe. They're swimming right by it. It's weird. I don't know what that is. Looks like a beaver, and mergansers is swimming right up to it. I guess mergansers aren't scared of beavers. Well, I made it. And the main feature of this camp is this kind of high up rock point here, which needs a good sweeping. I'm gonna get to work setting up camp, and I gotta actually take care of some of my injuries. I think I might have broke my finger. I mean, if I didn't break it, I probably sprained it. But anyway, I think what I'm gonna do is clean up both hands. I think I'm gonna buddy tape it, maybe to my pinky, so that I can still use my 3 fingers. Hey, would you be quiet? You're really freaking loud over there. Anyway, that's good enough for now. Lies like this, where the ground is sloping so far on one side, like oftentimes I end up with a crooked hammock, and I don't realize it until I get into bed. Maybe there's a better solution to that. If you know of one, let me know, because I always struggle with trying to eyeball whether my ridge line is level or not. I mean, it'll come down when you're sleeping in it, but it's a little high. I'm gonna fix that up. It's getting dark fast, as you can see, and there's no wind, and so all kinds of mosquitoes are coming out. And I need to cook dinner, unfortunately. Having some chili burritos for dinner. This is just freeze-dried chili that's portioned out in a smaller amount, and then just some tortillas, and rather than just eating freeze-dried chili by itself, much better this way. Today is the morning of day 6, and it's another sunny, clear sky day. 27 degrees again, I think. So really nice weather, but not conducive to great fishing, I think. I had an awesome sleep last night. I didn't even want to get out of bed, but I forced myself to. And all night long I noticed my finger here was really bothering me. It was hurting quite a bit. It's a lot more sore today than it was yesterday. Also, I've got a cut in between my fingers there, and I think I taped this too low and it's rubbing there. So anyway, minor issues. I think I'm going to work on that a little bit this morning. And the other thing I need to do this morning is I need to retie my fly line to my backing. I noticed yesterday when I caught that rainbow just peeled out a ton of drag, and I was way into my backing, and I don't see my backing often. Like when you fish for trout, you just don't see your backing. And anyway, the knot between my leader and my backing is barely holding on. I'm not sure what happened. It's all frayed. I was taking the fly line off the reel, just gently stripping the fly line out. And then when I got to the backing, everything went loose. It just slipped right out as I was pulling the fly line off the rod. I don't know how it held. That didn't come undone when I was fighting that fish. I would have lost all my sinking line. Yeah, good thing I decided to change this today. So I'm going to try and tie an Albright knot. So you make a loop in the thicker line, in this case it's a fly line. Bring the thinner line, which is the backing, through that loop. Pinch it with your thumb like that. Just pull a few inches out of there. So I'm just going to make a bunch of wraps. Starting from your fingers here. 1, 2, 12. And now, to complete this, you just take the backing and you run it through the loop in the same direction that the other one went. So in this case it's from the top down. So you have both pieces of line coming down through the end of the loop. And you can see I've just got some coils of material around that line, and if I start to pull that, it's all going to start to cinch up. And you can just sort of tease it with your fingers as you go. I'm just going to tighten that, and that should hold. I'm just checking my weather forecast here. I'm supposed to get up to 10 km/h winds today. It sure feels a lot more than that. Well, that's what I get for sleeping in a bit and dilly-dallying around camp and not getting out early in the morning. Nice little beach on the north end of the lake. Well, I'm just on the lee side of this point up here, and it's a south wind. I think I'm going to paddle down to the south end of the lake if I can make it there. And the portages for tomorrow are down there, so I'll check them out. So I'm over at the south end of the lake where it drains into a river. So you have 3 options from this lake. You can either attempt to take this river. You can hear it running underneath this bed of logs here. That's about how much water the entire river has. There's like one small pond-like section, 1 or 2. But otherwise, it's basically like that right there. And sometimes much drier. Like sometimes it's just gravel bars or boulder gardens. So. Off to a bad start. Well, not much dragging going on there. The river was a bad choice. It was mostly just multiple portages, lots of carries, boulder strewn, and just took a long time. I think it took me 3 hours maybe to go, not even 2K. And then when I got here on this lake, there are no campsites. That is option number 1. And here's option number 2. So you can see it opens up pretty good up there. So this is the 3K. And it's probably what I'll end up taking. Make my life simple. It'll take an afternoon, but there's a third option, which is a 1700 meter. I only know one person who's attempted it, and they said it was horrible, and they would never recommend doing it again. So now I am going to paddle over to the 1700 because I'm going to just fish my way back to my campsite. So we'll see. I'm at the end of this bay on the south of the lake. This looks like where the portage should be. And there's sort of a clearing here. So I assume this is it. It doesn't even look like a trail. I don't think I'm going to be taking this. I mean, maybe it's over that way. Look at that. There's a portage sign. Huh. Yeah, there's definitely a trail. It's me making quotation marks because this is following a dried up creek bed. But interesting, this is definitely rugged. Holy shit. Huh. I mean, it's something. If it is like this the whole way, that would be hell. Just ankle breakers every step. So intriguing though. Well, there's camp. Looking forward to eating some healthy portion of dinner. Half a bag of bacon jerky and some more Frank's Red Hot. There's some, I think they're rainbows rising, coming up right in front of the boat. There's one that come up there. There was one right off that point. I'm drifting a little quick, so I don't have much of a window. And they stopped rising now, of course. Well, I think that's going to be it for me tonight. I'm just going to go sit in the hammock and read for a while and fall asleep. I'm just getting ready to go to bed. And there's something big crashing around in the woods in there. And I hollered at it a few times. Didn't really seem to scare it away. I heard it in the water, so I kind of assume it's a moose. But it could be a bull on the rut. I wouldn't want that in my camp. Hey! Get out of here! It was real close. It's one of the reasons I don't like this campsite. There's a marshy area in this bay here. It looks perfect for wildlife. I was surprised I never really saw any other than beavers and stuff. It's kind of quieted down now, but every time I quiet down, it pipes up. Anyway, that's probably it once again for me tonight. Hopefully it doesn't give me any problems. Good night. There's some clouds rolling in this morning. As you can see, these are the first clouds I've seen this trip actually. Weather's getting a little bit cooler. We're supposed to get a lot of rain in the next 3 days, so I'm going to change things up quite a bit. Definitely doesn't feel like I've been out here for 7 days. Maybe it's due to my kind of slower pace. I think the pace is going to pick up a little bit now. Well, it's supposed to, outside of the fact that we're supposed to get 4 days straight of rain. So we'll see about that. I don't know what these are. They've got like a white sack on the back. And when they're flying, they look like little balls of fuzz. There's another one. I'm sure it's something obvious. I just don't recall seeing them before, at least not in this many numbers. The only thing I actually put away properly is this. This is the only thing I really depend on. And I don't want it to get punctured, so rather than just like cramming it into my pack. It's really calm here by the portage. I thought I would stop and cast a bit. I just had a good fish on. Literally all this time on the lake. This always happens. Of course, when I want to get the long portage done with early in the morning, because we're getting rain later, I get a fish and then I get sucked into staying thinking I'm going to get another one, and of course I don't get another one. I just waste time. It's like the fish are playing a joke on you. Wasn't supposed to rain until 4 o'clock. It's starting to rain and it's 11:30. At least I'll have some trees overhead and a canoe over my head for most of the way. Very bright, this part of the forest. Really pretty. Holy size 14's getting caught in every stick. It's amazing what you can get caught on when it looks like there's nothing there. That is a big rock just sitting on the side of the portage trail. Man. Well, here's one giant rock just rolled here from glaciers long ago. And here's the other. I mean, that thing is no joke. That's cool. On 6'2". So that's a pretty giant rock. So this is where the junction is in Algoma Lake. Because I remember this creek because you portage up part of it. I'm just taking a break on the canoe before I finish off the last 500 meters or so of this 3K. Funny story is that I almost didn't come on this trip because I was having really bad back pain. And I've had it for months. I thought I was crazy, my wife thought I was crazy, but I wasn't about to cancel this trip. I've been planning it forever and I just needed to get out. But long story short, I am 7 days in and I don't feel my back at all. In a good way. Like, it feels great. And I kind of suspected this would happen, but all my back pain is gone on this like grueling 3K portage with all this gear on my back, walking across boulders. So the moral of the story is that movement is medicine. Made it. A lot more colorful here on Kirkpatrick than it was. And just to the right is Blue Fox Camp. Looking at that lodge there, I would be really tempted on day 7 to paddle up to that, see if they'd sell me a beer. Like, I'm sure they have Wi-Fi. I could e-transfer them. That would be the greatest thing on the planet right now, a super cold beer. They call the lakes in this region the Blue Lakes because the water is pretty blue and pretty clear, and the scenery is insane. This is for sure the prettiest lake in the chain, and to get here by canoe, it's an ordeal just as far as the amount of portaging you need to do. And actually, I haven't done the worst of the portages yet. That was the longest one, but getting out of this lake to complete the loop is actually worse. I paddled over here to the south side of the lake to get out of the wind. The water was like glass over here for a good 10 minutes. And now the wind has turned from a south wind to a west wind. So I'm heading directly into it, and I'm back into a headwind again. And I would love to have my rain jacket right now because it's cold. Straight ahead is the center of the lake where the three arms of the lake meet. So there's the west, the east, and the north arm of the lake. So it opens up quite a bit here. There's a couple really nice campsites in the North Arm, but I'm not going to be camping there. I'm going to be camping more on the East Arm because there's some sort of side trips I want to do and some exploring over on that side of the lake. You guys know where I can order some more headwind? Because I can't seem to find enough. Yeah, I do carry a double blade. As you can see, there it is there. So you might be saying, dude, quit your whining, pull out your double blade. And you're probably right. Yeah, the only reason I don't pull it out more is I don't like getting wet. Like if I don't have to. Single blade, you don't get a drop of water on you. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. No matter what I do with a double blade, I still get wet. Like unless I'm really careful, and then you just can't move that fast anyway. Alright, well, I lost the battle. And I guess if it's gonna rain anyway, what do I care about getting wet? Well, there's the first sign of boat traffic. I don't know if you know about boating etiquette. As corny as it is, whenever you pass someone in a boat, it can be a kayak, a canoe, motorboat, a yacht, freaking freighter, it doesn't matter, you wave. Maybe they're just mad I'm on their lake. They paid all kinds of money to be here. And they're like, this guy, he's not even paying to be here. I'm paying. I'm paying in pain and suffering. And I think the storm's rolling in again. Getting dark, and I just heard some thunder. So I better get a tarp up. This tarp is absolutely soaked from this morning. It's pretty waterlogged. At least I should be dry in here. Okay, I'm gonna finish doing this, and if I have time I might put up a second tarp for a living area. Have the hammock set up. Hopefully it holds. It's okay so far. Outside of just some moisture on the inside. It's not dripping or anything. So that's good. I set up another tarp here. I just needed a place to work and keep everything dry. And it's really frustrating trying to fit everything under the tarp for the hammock because the hammock takes up all the space. So I am going to clean myself up and go to bed. So see you guys in the morning. Trying to convince myself to get up. I got a good rainstorm last night, but the tarp held up, stayed dry. When I was looking out earlier, it looked sunny through the bug net, and when I took it off, it's definitely not sunny. I was just about to get going and I laced up my boots and I realized that I've got a blister forming on my heel. So that black area right there, there's a seam. And that small little thing is what was rubbing on my ankle and just over time wearing it away. And I think I'm gonna go hike to a waterfall today. I tried to find it last time I was here and I couldn't locate the trail. So I'm gonna see if I can find it today and we'll go from there. I'm at the mouth of the river here, and the river goes in there. Can't paddle in through there. And I'm going to start my quest at looking for a trail. Well, that'll work. End of the road on the river here. That's what I call a log jam. Definitely not getting past that on the banks of the river or in the river. So I'm gonna head into the bush now. It's completely dense here, so actually I might have to backtrack. A little bit of an opening here. No idea if there's a trail. I'm gonna try and bushwhack for a little bit and see how far that gets me. I think I pushed my way through and it looks like I picked up a trail. I first found out about this place when I was just out of university, I think, and I was just taking up fly fishing, and I bought this book. It was called Ontario Blue Ribbon Fly Fishing. It outlined a whole bunch of trout rivers in Ontario and lakes, and I just remember there was a big full color picture of this waterfall behind me. I remember seeing it, and at the time I wasn't into backcountry tripping or anything. In fact, I was from Windsor at the time, or close to Windsor, and Windsor is flat as can be. And I just saw this guy standing in front of this exact waterfall. And I saw the rock cliffs beside it. Never seen anything like that. And this guy was fly fishing for trout. Anyway, long story short, I never thought I would ever see this place. And I just thought, how amazing would it be to be able to come here? It would be like the trip of a lifetime. At the time, I thought that. It's so cool to be standing right under the exact same waterfall. I didn't think you could do this kind of thing solo. And I didn't think you could get here without a float plane. So here I am by myself. I canoed all the way in. And honestly, I'm happy. So I just heard another moose. I think that's the sound of a male moose around this time when they're in the rut. So yeah, I don't really want to sneak up on them. I think I'm more scared of a big angry male moose than I am of a black bear, I'll be honest. Almost done the boulder hop. And what do you know? My canoe is safe and sound where I left it. Look at the weather I was treated to when I got back from that hike to the waterfall. This is a dream. These guys are on the water, and every once in a while there's a fish that jumps. So that's what they're going to be eating. There's quite a few of them. Sort of struggling to, maybe they're emerging. I guess they emerge on lakes. It's like, I'd say a hexagenia. Some people call them fish flies. He's going to get ready to take flight here. His wings are pretty much dry. Oh, he just tried. Where'd you go? I'm going to step on him now. Oh, here he is. You trying to call for help? You're drowning out there. I saved your life. Should thank me. Look at you, trying to grab me. It's not very nice. Were you trying to high-five me? Oh, look at that. Okay. You go dry off now. What is this brave new world? What am I looking at? Who are these people? So I got about an hour and 15 minutes left until sundown. And there's this little back lake, about 250 meters of a portage. I'm going to try and walk back in there and see if we can fish it until just before dark and then make our way out. Just not far from my campsite. But apparently, it's straight uphill. Holy shit. This lake must be way up. Well, it's downhill on the way back. Look at this little piece of heaven. I think it doesn't go much further than that. It's a real small lake. There should be brook trout in here. We'll see. I just had a nice fish. Had him on for a few seconds and I lost him. I don't know if I need to improve my hooks or what. Oh, I thought that was a fish maybe. But yeah, I'm just losing a lot of fish on this trip. Well, I've run out of light. I kind of pushed my luck. but I don't have too far to go. And then camp's just around the corner. Pizza! We're on to day 9. Same old routine this morning. It's going to be hot coffee and oatmeal. They're calling for rain pretty much non-stop from 2 p.m. into the morning. So, gonna try and get out early today. There was a big color change in the last couple of days. Definitely a lot more colors popping now. Which makes sense. Weather's getting a lot cooler, especially overnight. So just heading over to the northwest channel where I'm going to attempt to get into some of these brookie lakes. Hopefully I can get my canoe through there because these trails are definitely not groomed for canoes if yesterday's lake was any indication. Well, no sign of the portage yet, but there is this little campsite that I found. And kind of a cool location right between those two cliffs. And I sure hope this is the portage. Otherwise, I gotta go back the way I came. I did find the portage, but look what else I found. There's a boat. Well, let's be real. When you're camping on a lake with a lodge on it, that's what you're going to get. There's another lake that looked interesting, and I'm hoping there's no one there, because if there's someone there, then I think I'm actually just going to head back to camp. Anyway, check back in later in about an hour when I'm closer to my second attempt of the day to find solitude and brook trout. Not a long portage, about 200 meters. So I think I'll start with a troll around the lake. I have no idea how deep it is. Doesn't look very deep right here. Some people say they have better luck fishing in the rain. I definitely don't find that. Well, I finally got something. We call this one the green bass. Looks like a fish, doesn't it? I've tried almost everything. Trolled the entire lake, casted, tried leeches, tried bait fish. Went big, went small. As my dad would say, ain't no fish in here. Well, right about now, I wish I would have packed up camp and moved on to a new lake. I think I left at the right time. And this decline at the end is a little bit treacherous now that everything's soaked. Yeah, this spot's tricky. Alright, we lived. Well, only about 40 minutes of this. I guess I asked for it. I said it was gonna start raining at 2 and not stop. Well, the tarp stayed up. See about the hammock. Should be dry underneath. Yeah, it looks fine. I'm gonna get dry and hang out under the tarp for a while. This is the inside of my rain jacket. So I'm not sure if that's soaked through. Hopefully that's a user error. I'm gonna let that dry out, but it would really suck if my rain jacket did not keep me dry. This big rock that I hung my tarp over worked out pretty nicely for a table. Not often you get like a chest-high table under your tarp. Well, you can't ask for every day to be perfect. Well, the rain let up here a little bit so I can actually talk. I checked my pot, which was sitting on the fire pit. We were supposed to get 13 mils of rain today, and there was already like 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water in that pot. It's just been coming down. I need to decide what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm definitely not staying here. So the rest of my trip was supposed to be through White Bear Lake. One of the portages for sure, the one out of White Bear Lake, is really, really rocky. Just some rock gardens, and it's kind of a maze a little bit on the side of White Bear Lake, essentially. Given how much rain we've had over the last couple of days, especially today, and it's supposed to rain until the morning, I'm second guessing whether I want to go through there. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Okay, it got real bad here real fast. Thank God I tied my canoe down. We're getting a bad storm. We were not supposed to have this kind of wind. This tarp is taking a beating. It's holding so far, but I need to lower it. Well, I found another use for a tripod. All I can do is wait this out. And it's going to be dark soon. Not a nice looking cloud at all. It's coming this way. Well, it's lit up for a second again. They definitely weren't forecasting anything like this at all. And if they were, I definitely would not be camping on an island like this. I'd be on the mainland where I could take better shelter in the trees. There's not a lot of trees on this island either. It's a little after 9. This is the driest place to be, so I did manage to get down dinner as well and lock all my gear down essentially for the night. Survived that storm last night. It did get pretty bad for a little while and it was looking pretty threatening. It was a good thing I got back when I did because it started not long after I got back to camp and I definitely would have been stranded. Gonna get a nice warm cup of coffee and start the tear down of camp. All the wet stuff used to go in this dry bag and I'll stuff that in my main pack. Pretty much have camp packed up. It's getting pretty late. Took me a while. And I just got a new weather forecast. High at 24 today, 23 tomorrow, 24 Wednesday. So outside of the winds look not great, but no rain. And I'm sort of second guessing going through White Bear. I might do that now. I'm going to make a decision when I get near the portages, and I've only got one more GoPro battery after this and I don't really have a way to charge, so I'm going to stop talking, conserve a bit more battery, and time to get going. It looks like I'm actually going to have a tailwind for the first time on this trip. And it's funny how that happens after some of the worst days. You'll be out here and you will have what seems like the worst day, and it can't get any worse. You know, you want to go home, and then the next day everything changes and you forget all about it. And that's what today is. That is a mound of a beaver lodge. It's like a 3-story. Just at the portage. It's about 850 meters, I think, in and around that range. So here we go. It's 2:30. Let's see what time I get to the other side. Looks like that beaver's been to work. This poor tree. I just wasted 40 minutes bushwhacking. Like, I got it at completely the wrong spot. That was a beaver trail. Anyway, long story short, I found the trail. It was a bit west of where I was, and I wasted 40 minutes. This looks like a trail. Let's try this again. There's a lot of that on this trail. The portage skirts this little lake, or pond I guess you could call it. And there's a whole bunch of rock outcroppings that you're portaging over along it as well. Okay, there's one carry. White Bear Lake. Now it's time to go back for the canoe. I'm on White Bear and made pretty good time on that portage. So I'm just heading to the northeast corner of the lake. I'm gonna camp on White Bear tonight, and I won't have time to scout the portage for tomorrow, but hopefully it's in pretty good shape. So I'll see you guys in a bit when I'm out of this headwind and closer to camp. This is cool. There's about a foot of water here, and I'm just out in the middle of the lake. And then it drops off to deeper water on all sides, so pretty good spot to fish, I would say. So I'm just pulled up on this little beach here, and I spotted something through the trees. There's no opening here at all, but I saw something that looked man-made, so I come through the bushes here. Lo and behold, there's an old camp. Quite the extravagant setup here. An old campsite. Big fire pit, obviously completely filled in. There's a table with a grate hanging up, and another nice table. There's a stocked brookie lake that way through the woods, about 500 meters. So I assume that this area used to be used as an access to that stocked brookie lake. And there's no longer a portage because it's been that long since anyone actually tried to use it. So there might be a semblance of an old trail, or maybe some markings somewhere. I didn't see any. I'd love to know where the old portage is here, because it would be interesting to use it to shorten my portage distance. Anyway, very cool spot. So there's a portage marker right in there. So that would be the start of the portage to Little White Bear. This is usable as a campsite. I thought that was the start of the portage. There's some old wood, looked like maybe an old dock or something. Yeah, this campsite definitely gonna work. The only issue it really has is there's no direct water access. This is a great little pebble beach, which is pretty close to the portage to put the canoe. I gotta carry my gear up all these loose rocks here. Just wide open. Nice pine trees, and there's a couple of real nice trees in there to hang a hammock from. Perfect hammock spot. Got a real big problem right now. There must have been like something really sharp on the ground. I put my air mattress down for a second. Probably shouldn't have done that. Check this out. It's a rip about 1.5 inches long. See my fingers right through it. And you can't sleep in the muck without an air mattress. There's just no support. What a beautiful night. I sure would like to be out there enjoying the water, fishing. But instead, I'm trying to patch a hole so I can actually sleep tonight. And it's a real mess, as you can see. Just gobs of it on there. You can see there's some air bubbles forming. As it dried, the hole just started opening and then the glue was bubbling, and I had to put way too much to try and seal that large hole. You can just feel the temperature dropping drastically. So nothing's going to dry now. And it might even take longer for this to dry. I'm not sure. It also means I'm going to have to work in the dark. I don't want to use my lantern because I need it to charge things. And my lantern didn't get a full charge today. It got like 3/4. As you can see, I didn't get the edges down at all. Barely got any underneath it. It was not even close to enough glue for such a large hole. Since the fire pit's out of commission, this is my fire for tonight. Get some coals going. I'm going to heat up some water on there. And I think what I'm going to do is duct tape over the patch, since the patch didn't work out that well. And if it can get me through 1 or 2 nights, that's all I need. Got some mandarin beef and rice. It smells so good. I've had this before. It's actually quite good. And I've got some cedar tea going. Felt like a hot drink tonight. Such a clear, calm night after yesterday's storm. Well, call it overkill. There's a patch under there and I didn't trust it, so multiple layers of duct tape. So far it's holding. I did lie on it and it was good for the like 30 seconds I lied on it, and now it's been sitting here for a good 45 minutes. Good dinner, good tea. So all is good in the world. I'm gonna head to bed. Good night. Well, another good morning. My patch job held. I was able to get a good sleep. I originally checked the inReach yesterday afternoon or yesterday morning, and it said no rain for like 4 days. Not looking so hot today. I checked the inReach again, and now they're calling for rain potentially today, tomorrow, or the next day. They just can't make up their minds. It almost was feeling like rain, but I think it's just the mist and the fog. Really heavy though. I had to put my rain jacket on. Everything got soaked, so I don't even need to get my feet wet this morning because the portage is literally right next to my campsite. I just walk over those rocks and over to the Pebble Beach and start my portage. I got a couple batteries charged, so that's good news. I got one partially charged actually with my solar lantern. I'm completely out of charges on my battery banks. My phone's close to 100%, so I should be good. I'm only in here for at most 2 more days. Goodbye, White Bear Lake. We didn't really get to know each other that well, but I'll miss you anyway. It started out as expected. Absolute boulder garden. Like an old dried up creek bed. everything's completely wet, so it's gonna take me a long time, let's put it that way. A boulder field with a bunch of downed trees and no indication of which way the path goes. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a piece of flagging tape here where I came from at the entrance to this, and then put all my gear down, scout ahead, and just flag at least the entrance from this boulder field. And I'll just keep doing that and take my time, make my double carrying easier. Otherwise I'm just going to end up bushwhacking, and I don't want to do that with all this crap. So this is my coffee cup. Must have got caught in something and ripped the actual cup out. So I'm going to backtrack because I can't be without a coffee cup. Look at this. Like, that's a rock with a open face on it. Okay. It's not as open as I thought it was in there. It almost looked like a hollowed out rock, you know, looking at it from the right angle like that. But definitely a great place for some kind of animal to take refuge in. Very cool. Now that it's raining, these are getting even slipperier. And lots of big crevices in these boulders. Came out to a little creek, or I guess it's a pond. I don't know if you can tell, but it continues faintly forward. But then it also juts across this way. This is even a better worn path. It goes that way. Do I turn left here? Do I try to go straight? It seems to taper out going straight. But then why does it come from that way? I have absolutely no idea. So I think maybe now it's time to drop my gear again and scout it out. Yeah, okay, I see what's going on. This is why this area is so confusing. These are game trails, so probably like moose, beaver, maybe even bear. And yeah, their trails are much easier to follow than human trails. Very confusing. Logic would tell you though that if I came from that way, I keep going straight. So even though there really is no trail here, I'm gonna keep walking straight and see what happens. This looks to be the trail that I found, just pushing my way through that grass. And it's funny, there was no trail on that grass. Oh, Jesus. Holy crap. Grouse. They scare the bejesus out of you. Like, they're so loud, their wings. I was hearing some barking, like a barking sound, and I think that sound coyotes make not too far away, which normally I don't really care much about, but when I was on my way up here last year, I ran into 3 coyotes on the access road, really close to the access, and they were curious. They just wanted everything to do with me. They followed me. If I tried to get out, they would come close to the truck. And I actually got a bit of a video on my phone. Not very good quality, but maybe I'll show it. And yeah, really weird. Like, good looking coyotes, but they were really interested in me. So more boulder gardens as far as the eye can see. Serious ankle breaking portage. There's some more wolf scat. I suppose it could be coyote, I'm not quite sure. Looks like I've come to the end of most of the trail. There's a big pond here. I'm hoping I can just throw my canoe in here. I hope it's deep enough. I'm definitely not getting over this part. Well, that's as far as we can go. And all I need to do is get out here, carry through this stuff, and there's white bear. And actually, I don't know if you can see it without the zoom, but it looks like a primo potential campsite across the lake there. Huge rock slab. It's a little bit sloping, but I'm going to check it out. Well, little white bear. Pretty small lake. Oh, if only that was a fish and not a snag. Once again, a rocky access. But this is definitely a campsite. Big old fire pit. How did someone get plywood back in here? That's interesting. I'm honestly not going to find a better campsite than this. Really nice up as well. It's all open up here. Actually similar to last night's campsite, which I really liked. Plenty of open space and big trees to hang a hammock from up here. So I like it. Here's my patch. And that rip, all I did, I had this on the ground. Just like this, just pine needles and stuff. And it was blown up and I just lifted it up. And I guess because of it was so firm from the air, it must have caught something sharp. It just sliced right through it. So yeah, we're definitely holding air, as you can see. And that's how I wrecked it. See what I mean? Now I gotta be paranoid for the rest of my life. These are really slippery too. See if it'll hold up. Yep, so far so good. I was so grimy from crashing through the bush so much today. I haven't showered in many a days. Don't tell my wife. Well, all camp chores are done. And I'm just gonna head out for a quick little pre-dark fish. I don't have much time. Probably only have 40 minutes. Thought I'd try my luck anyway. Something absolutely slammed it. It just bent my rod backwards. And I fumbled with the rod trying to get it out of the rod holder. It's so hard. I think it's harder with a fly rod to set the hook on a troll. And with my luck, I'm not going to get another one. That's usually how it's been. Alright, well, all there's left to do tonight is make some chili burritos. And then I'm going to get in the hammock and call it a night early. So we'll see you in the morning. Good night. It is day 12 and I'm making my way out today. I have a pretty good amount of travel to get out of here. And it's been raining all night and it's still raining and it's supposed to rain all day. So yeah, I'm going to continue getting camp all torn down and we'll check back in a little bit later. I scouted the portage last night when I went for a paddle. It's just across the lake here, so literally a 5-minute at most paddle. Just at the portage to Cub Bear now, straight ahead. I just heard some really big sticks cracking right there, right next to the portage as I paddled past it. Not sure if it was a moose or a bear. Pretty sure this canoe doesn't get much use. Little blue friend. I think you've seen your last days. Nice little lake. Some nice hills in the background. Almost enveloped in a cloud right now. And it's just almost even stopping to spit, so maybe get a little fish in before I continue on that 1200. The rain decided to stop when I got off the water. Everything was working against me there. My boat was half filled with water. I really tried to fish this lake. There was a brookie tailing, and I even had one take, but I missed it. Wind kept blowing me into shore, and I'm pressing my luck. I really need to get going. Well, this portage is like a dream. This might be the best portage I've had on this route yet. We're just taking a quick break on the portage before I bring the last load, my canoe and the food barrel, over to Big Horseshoe. And you know, I was thinking that the last couple days I've been noticing a little bit more surface activity with fish rising in the evenings. I saw some tailing today on the surface, and it makes sense because we've had some cooler weather the last, I'd say 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And before that we had a huge heat wave. But yeah, isn't it my luck that just as I'm leaving, the weather's cooling down and it's just about to hit prime fall trout fishing. Is the water ever aqua blue here? I don't remember it being this blue. Wow. Big Horseshoe. Super pretty. Looks like I'm just passing through another cluster. You can see it up ahead and we just hit pretty hard. And I'm just coming up on the portage from Big Horseshoe into Duval. Okay, I'm running on fumes here on the GoPro, but this is a little creek that is in between the small portage at either end from Big Horseshoe to Duval. So just going to paddle that and I'll be on my access lake. Look at that thing. Big turtle. Huge claws on that. What's up there, buddy? Just chilling? I'm at the end of the creek here, going into Duval. And there's a stashed boat at this little creek that's like half a foot deep in pure muck. I can only imagine it's to get over to Big Horseshoe and then they leave it at the other side and then bring it back when they're done. But This blows my mind. There's two more with someone's running shoes here. And look at this. So 6 including the other 3. That's 9 boats. I've never seen anything like it. We made it. Sure is nice at this end of the lake. Just need to portage my gear back to the truck, and that's the end of the trip. Thanks for coming along. See you next time. Well, I think I found the portage. It follows this old rocky stream bed. I think I'm gonna have to give up on it. It's really easy to lose. I just don't have enough time right now. Well, back on my favorite portage of the day. I think I'll have walked this 6 times today. It just goes to show, spent a little bit extra time clearing the portage, and it's bound to make somebody else's life a little bit easier, and maybe it'll make your life easier the next time you come through. Well, that was actually a fishy little pool, super clear, so they're gonna see me coming from a mile away. I keep looking for a rainbow. They're supposed to be in here, and no luck yet with the rainbows, but I'm not complaining. Oh my God, it's massive. Oh, I can't even get them in the net. What a beautiful brook trout. Oh my God. Don't come here, the fishing's bad. You heard it from me.